having some fun with our fantasy football draft analysis today. It's time for a new edition of Would You Rather, and we are taking a look at two quarterbacks, Tom Brady and Jimmy Garoppolo. For that conversation, let's bring on Sports Illustrated fantasy analyst Ben Heisler and the editor of all 49ers, Grant Cohn. Ben, I'm going to start with you because it's actually me and you going up against each other in our article. I'm on Team Brady. You're on Team Jimmy G. Let's start off with why you think you're right and I'm wrong.
Oh, let's just get right to it, Bill. The fantasy value for Jimmy Garoppolo going off the board is the quarterback 22 or 23, even in some markets. There is so much fantasy value this year coming in with Jimmy Garoppolo. For a guy that threw the ball the second least amount of times in the NFL, according to team passing, he was the quarterback 14 a season ago. He was number 4 in the NFL at yards per pass attempt. And now that the defense is likely going to regress, again, after we saw this, what happened with the Chicago Bears a couple seasons ago, I'd likely think that the 49ers defense is probably going to regress a little bit again this year. They're going to have to take more chances down the field, especially with George Kittle now being fully healthy, likely being the tight end one of fantasy football in 2020. There's presents an opportunity for Garoppolo to have more opportunities on play action, take deeper shots down the field. Brandon Ayuk has now been added to the mix. I know Grant's going to talk about him in a second, but he's looked incredible so far during the 49ers training camp. Then eventually, once they get Deebo Samuel back, the offense is going to be clicking, Bill. And Kyle Shanahan will take chances down the field. He's not just a run-first type guy. It was how the defense and how the situation set up last year. A couple years ago, they were one of the most pass-heavy teams in the NFL. The ceiling is very high for Jimmy Garoppolo, and everybody, including you, Bill Enright, is sleeping on him this season.
Grant, let me go over to you. You're at the team facility, Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California. Let's talk about Jimmy G. Any indication that Kyle Shanahan wants to pass the football more this year, or has Ben just blowing smoke over here?
It's been 2 days of training camp. They're installing their offense. It's hard to glean what Kyle Shanahan wants to do in terms of his run to pass ratio. But I can say that Jimmy Garoppolo looks better than last year. Last year, he was coming off a torn ACL, and he was like learning how to play quarterback again. He seems to have the deep ball down again. He seems to have a little bit more zip than he had last year. And I'm supposed to say that I'm on Team Jimmy because I cover the 49ers. But I would agree that he's a better value in fantasy football than Tom Brady. But I think it's going to be hard for him to have an actual better season than Tom Brady. And that's no knock on Jimmy, but his number one receiver right now is a rookie. Tom Brady's going to be throwing to Rob Gronkowski, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard, and that's really a pass-first team. So even though I'm in Santa Clara, I would be on Team Brady in this case.
You know, I could just sit back and relax and let Grant do all my talking for me. Take that, Ben Heisler. My man Grant is on Team Brady. Let us know who team you are on by checking in on the SI Fantasy community page. Go to si.com/fantasy.